What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It's episode number 72. Big episode today as we close out the first half of our first season of AS Roma. No wins in our last 3 games and 2 defeats in 3 as well. Today we're wrapping up the first half of the league season, aim to get back on track after our draw against Lazio. Have the Coppa Italia last 16 as we take on Parma, and we'll also have our final 2 games of the Europa League phase, where on the back of the shocking defeat in Dublin and the draw away in Greece, we might have to win back-to-back in order to bypass the playoffs and finish top 8. So yeah, massive games today. Let's crack straight on. Our first game is going to be the penultimate game of the Conference League phase. It is a Turkish side, Kasımpaşa, coming to the Stadium Olimpico. No wins in our last 2 in Europe, and again, probably need to win back-to-back. Let's get the first of the 2 we need here before summer. We did mention this season was going to be full of growing pains, and it's been what you call stop-start really. Like we stumbled out of the blocks despite the big win on the opening day. Then we picked ourselves up and went on a great run of form, and now we're back to feeling a little, oh what a ball, Freddie, and a finish, Cometh. Now we're back to feeling somewhat unpredictable, if you will. But one thing that is always predictable is that when the skipper is out there, he's going to do something special, man. What a ball. And a great replay angle as well. But yeah, we discussed it last episode. 91 rated now, Fabre, and I'll say it once again. He is one of my all-time greats, and I'm going to stand by that as well. So it's only his 3rd season as well, man. His story's just getting going. Yes, Karima went in some. And as Gillardi gives it back to him, the right back will slide it through to Fabre. And oh, he's just having fun. He's just having fun. Oh, that would have been amazing. Just went the wrong way with the ball roll there, man. Cleared away by Kasımpaşa. But again, it's funny because with a lot of my heroes, they're just specialists at one thing, you know, like a clinical finisher or a rapid winger or rock-solid defender. Fabre is a combination of all of those things, really. He's so versatile. And whilst normally the attacking mid, normally the 10, tonight he plays deeper, but still gets the assist for the opening goal. And for the second, it is Roberto heading in our cushion. 2-0 AS Roma, and I think we're getting that 1 win or 2 we'll need. Side note, so happy that crosses have been fixed and players can now score with their head. I mean, last year was just ridiculous, wasn't it? It never worked. It was just completely broken. This year I'm glad that EA have managed to fix it. Whilst it does still have some issues at times, for the most part it works really well. As Eduardo Bove, speaking of working well, makes it free. Yeah, poor mini run of form from Roma, but definitely back on track. What a first half. Back-to-back wins mandatory if we are to bypass the playoffs, and that is very important in our first season with Roma to avoid 2 extra games and some more pressure. 1 down, 1 to go, and when we travel to Besiktas, a win there in Turkey should guarantee a top 8 finish. Right, back on track with a big win there, ending our winless run of 3. Now, tough test, Torino away in Turin. Back to matters in the Serie A right now, so outside the top 4, but a win will put us back in the Champions League place, which, like I said before, is our mandatory requirement for our first season in Rome. Next up, Turin away. And I must admit, this camera angle is growing on me, by the way. Obviously, we switched it for the new season from the bird's eye co-op I ordinarily play on. But of course, I saw some comments, particularly at the start of the save, but a few since then as well. Asking me to get more of an environmental look, if you will. Not an environmental look. What am I trying to say? Like a look that kind of shows you the enclosed environment. That's better. But yeah, it's growing on me. It's growing on me. It is a little difficult for me to play on, I'm not going to lie. Especially when it kind of like swings a little bit. But it's growing on me. I do like it. Leone's always going to win that header. Fabre's always going to win that foot race. And always going to finish when given a chance as well. Once again, he is unstoppable. Frederick Fabre, we've got like 9 goals now in 15 games. Baller. Seem to win it back. Oh, well, almost win it back again. Again, it's not just about what he does on the offensive end, but tracking back as well. He's got the super high stamina, so never runs out of energy. And in a weird way, he does kind of remind me a bit of Bruno Fernandes, a little bit, as he wins that back there too. But he is just so. I'll tell you, man, like Fernandes, for the criticism he gets, and I've been a vocal critic of the guy as well at times. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny that. Sometimes his attitude, let's just say, not the best, but having watched the guy play as Alfonso makes it 2-0 as much as I have, and when you watch him for a full game as well, especially when Manchester United were really, really going through tough patches in the recent years. Sometimes he was just so head and shoulders above everyone in the team at times, and the way he could just effortlessly move balls around and create something out of nothing, but sometimes just drag the team to a result. He did that on a number of occasions, or has done that on a number of occasions, I should say, at Old Trafford and away. Fabre, especially at Lyon, kind of reminds me of that kind of player as well. Like just single-handedly elevating everyone around him to a slightly better ability just on his own kind of presence, if you will. Once again, having a master stroke of a game. I've only played 24 minutes in Turin. He is just that good, as that shot's easily saved. With my heroes, I always try and think about who they're very similar to in terms of real footballers. And again, with Freddie Fabre, I don't know if Fernandes is the best case. I'm not too sure. There's Endor's going to have a go, and there's denied by a sprawling save. With him being French, I'd like to call him my Zidane. I guess I could, as he offloaded with a chest there, but he must have handled it in the process too. But yeah, that's going to go out. That's gone out, hasn't it? But yeah, he is just, oh man, I'm not exaggerating either, man. He really is one of the all-time best I've used in terms of complete control. I never feel like I'm going to get it wrong with this guy. I always feel like he's just on it every single game and in complete control. There's Topper, bends one in, and Alphonsi, almost made it free. And you know, Zidane's career trajectory, to be fair, is very similar to Frédéric Fabre's. I mean, you know, Zidane started off in France, of course, and then moved on to a bigger French club, Bordeaux, who, of course, back in the 90s were a much better outfit than they are now. And then, of course, you got the move to Juventus. You know, starred there in Turin for a few years before ending his career as a Galactico at Real Madrid. And for Fabre, started off at Nantes, moved to Lyon, takes him to the top of France, comes to Rome in Italy, like Zidane in Turin, and maybe he'll end up at Barcelona. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But it is very similar as Kamada hits the third. Game over, good night, and yeah, Roma with a mini struggle, but back on track now. This is the Roma we are looking to be consistent with this season. Smile all day. And Door swivels, turns, goes for it, it's dipping, and it just didn't get in line. Very close to dropping in there. And of course, we saw Kenny McLean's halfway line to get a goal against Denmark in the week. Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine since FIFA 14, but that was close. That was close, to be fair. And I have been asked a couple of times in the comments where I'm still trying them, because obviously I haven't really showed any in FC 26. The answer is yes, but in these past 2 FC years, I haven't even got close. I came quite close in FC 24. I hit the bar in one of my saves too, but yeah, not getting closer really. Certainly not in FC 26, but that was close. I think the keeper might have had it covered, or I certainly think he did, but even so. Leading by 3, most important thing is these points are in the bag, and Roma go for back-to-back 3-0 wins. 2 big ones to kick the big episode off. As Mikey Moore turns brilliantly there. Wonderful dribbling, great save, but the rebound turned in, and our clean sheet is gone. I said this was the last episode, rebound goals since the latest patch are very, very common. How on earth do we not react on time to that? Still back on track, that's the most important thing, and back in the top 4 as well. And I'll say it again, like, winning a treble is just not going to happen in our first season, but I do feel we've got a chance of silverware. I would say the Serie A is the most difficult thing to win, but it's very open to start the campaign off, as we are back in the title race. Right, following game, Thursday night, and like I said, in order to bypass the playoffs of the Conference League, need to win back-to-back. 1 down, 1 to go. Following game, Istanbul, Besiktas away. It's so cool that their stadium is in the game as well. It's a new build stadium, not built long ago, and now in FC as well. It looks absolutely fantastic, and one day I'd love to go and visit if I ever go back to Istanbul. So following game, Thursday night, Besiktas away in Turkey. Win tonight, and we finish top 8. Failed to do so, and will drop to the playoffs. I mentioned before that I went to Istanbul a few years ago, and my big regret is that whilst I was there, I didn't go ground hopping, as even though there's obviously some big iconic grounds in Turkey with big iconic clubs, I didn't go ground hopping, and it was a massive regret of mine. I was travelling with a friend, and she actively dislikes football, you know, so I knew that she wasn't going to come with me, but I could have gone on my own, I didn't, and it was such a massive regret, man. If I ever go back, definitely believe me, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Başakşehir, yeah, I'll definitely be going to a few grounds. If I ever go back to Istanbul, I guess we'll see. It's on the list of grounds I'd like to visit one day. It is a lovely new build stadium. And speaking of which, it's great to see how many new stadiums EA added to FC this year, by the way. You know, we mentioned a lot that the more real stadiums, the better for the immersion and for the realism too. And there's Eduardo Bovey. Oh, almost caught the keeper out and he fumbles it, but picks it up to prevent the corner. But yeah, they've added in the Allianz Arena. They've added in Besiktas' stadium. They've added in the Stadio Diego Maradona. They've added in, obviously, Everton Stadium, Hill Dickinson Stadium. I think they've added in RB Salzburg Stadium from Austria as well. They've added in a lot of new grounds for this year's FC. And whilst this year's game has got its problems, we all know that. The amount of new stadiums they've added in, fair play to EA. Really adding for the immersion, making some of these European trips very fun indeed. So we are still deadlocked at 0-0. I'm not doing the job so far. Besiktas have defended really well, and they've kept holding the ball really well too. And I just can't seem to break them down, man. Not worried about defensively. I feel for sure no matter what we'll get a point tonight, but... Oh, Liberali. Oh, that's going to be a foul, surely. No, nothing given, and an injury. First of the season. Oh, no, surely not. Surely not. The Besiktas have done nothing with the ball all game long. If they go and win this, I'll be fuming. Good interception, and... Oh, you're joking. I said we were the strongest team in this competition and we won't even bypass the playoffs. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Well, that is what I get for being arrogant and going out of character. You know me, I'd like to think I'm quite humble, quite modest. What was I talking about? Saying, oh yeah, we're our favourites, we'll win this comfortably. Are you kidding me? Only 3 wins and 6, not even making the top 8. And on the back of the loss of Besiktas, dropping into the playoffs, I guess you could say pride comes before the fall. Roma falling to the playoffs to take on CFR Cluj. It's not been drawn in the standings, we can see it in the calendar. So the Romanian side, first away, then at home. I do feel confident we'll get through that, but that is a lesson and a harsh lesson taught. Don't be arrogant, man. It's our first season of a rebuild. Come on. Come on, get back to your humble ways, Doxy boy, because you have been sat down. Right, following game, heading into this and aiming to get back on track on the back of the slip up there. Tough one though, Milan. They might be struggling right now in mid-table in the Serie A, but still one of the big boys in Italy. And of course finished, was it 2nd place last season as well? So still a very tough test here on the back of a big loss away in Turkey. Next up, Milan in Rome, aiming to get back to winning ways here. What am I doing? Talking about how we're massive favourites and anything other than a final place is a letdown. It's our first season. It's a reboot. Like, come on. Seriously, the Conference League, it may not be as strong as the Champions League, obviously, but come on. Like, we're not taking on League 2 standard teams here. That's just arrogant, man. And I get what I deserve for that, man. That's just arrogant. And, like I say, it's out of character as well. That's the thing. It's completely out of character, man. It's not what I'm like, I promise you. It's, yeah, evidently it's a stark reminder there that once more, pride indeed cometh before the fall. Fonzie's dispossessed and Milan will get it away. And that's why for this game, like I said, man, they might be mid-table right now, having a poor season by their standards, but we've got to be better. We've got to be much, much better if we're to get back on track here. Oh, what a touch, Alfonsi, but we probably will, to be fair. Alfonsi, what a touch, what a finish, what an opener. Careful. That shot's blocked and encouraged straight back to the man. Polo, great save. And Kuruma get it away. Yeah, rebounds and deflection I'm finding since the recent patch are deflecting a lot more to the offensive player than to the defender. And that is something which I'm not necessarily totally against it happening on occasion, but now it feels as though it's... Oh, Kuruma, what a turn. It's benefiting the attacker far too much. As Basili dinks one in, it's claimed well by sending that man, but yeah, that to me is something I think EA need to tone down, because the amount of goals that are getting scored that way is just a bit too unrealistic, I would say. You know, he's still leading by, oh, I was going to say still leading by 1, but it's now going to be 2. No, it's not. Command denied by the Belgian. And I don't know why he went with the left foot there when trying to bend in with a right to the far corner, but still 1-0. But a second goal is coming. But as things stand, it could easily go to either side. Very fun first half. This a lot better than we were in Turkey on Thursday. Get a second goal done, I think we'll be alright. Ruma to Endor, flicks it, and Togba, oh, what a save again, my goodness. And you know, obviously we know Manchester United look for that long-term success of the David De Gea early doors, but the Belgian does look good, doesn't he, in his first few games for Manchester United. That is a brilliant, he's made 2 excellent saves to end this first half, man. He's a great young keeper anyway, but man, we should be 3 goals up. Instead it's only 1, it's all thanks to him. That's a cracking ball, that. It's an even better ball, that. That's a better finish as well. Goodness gracious me, man. Excellent end to the first half, but couldn't take our chances. And what's that old saying? You don't take your chances, you will get punished. I am going to say this to the board, man. What on earth were they smoking when they said we could win a treble this year and we should win a treble? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's a great team, but the Serie A is such a strong league. No way could we win the treble. And I think there's a genuine chance we will end up trophies. We're not going to win the Serie A. Como, as things stand, are looking unstoppable, leading the way. And the Conference League, like I said, not a great league phase campaign to say the very least. As Kamada skips away and hits the crossbar, and Milan will escape. But even the Coppa Italia, that is going to be incredibly difficult to win with our game against Parma on Wednesday night. So as long as we get in the top 4, take it slow and steady. That's the most important thing. But if our form remains inconsistent, even that is going to be hard to do. Pride cometh before the fall, indeed. This is a harsh lesson to be taught, but a necessary one as well. Got to humble yourself, man. In the words of Haaland and Kendrick, stay humble, because this is not going to cut it, man. Talking about how we're going to win the Conference League with ease, go for a title, maybe try and win the Coppa Italia. Absolutely not. Not playing like this. I know it's we stay in the top 4, but yeah, that is, I think, our absolute best we can do in our first season with AS Roma. But if we are to win silver, we will have a chance in this competition. But based on our last 2 games, we'd have to get through this. Following game, Parma at home, Wednesday night, Coppa Italia. And again, I would say this is probably our most winnable competition now, considering how poor we've been in Europe. So Parma, last 16 at the Stadium, going after back-to-back games by the win. Got to be a lot better, and I am taking this seriously too. Very strong lineup in order to avoid the cups there. Forza Roma, come on, back on track tonight. I did, of course, mention this in our defeat to Shamrock Rovers, though. It's good, though. You know, it really is good. And I know it sounds like, you know that meme with the guy who's like crying behind a mask that's smiling. That's probably what it feels like for me right now. But it is good because like when you move to a new team, you don't want to dominate in your first season. You don't want to win everything in your first season. It's like, you know, you probably left for a new challenge, you know, for a new kind of situation. The team you left, you probably were starting to dominate with. So I want to throw that is. You want to start to find things a little more. Oh, what a ball that is, a little more difficult for you. And we definitely are here in Roma as well. You don't want to dominate, man. You do want a bit of difficulty. But Alfonsi says, guys, calm down. Calm down, because we have had a couple of slip-ups recently. We're going to get back on track tonight, and we will make the quarterfinals. Great ball, great finish, great opening goal. Roma in front. The big, tough, humbling losses may sting at the time, but believe me, they are best for your growth in character. And we're not just talking about career mode or football here. You know, as Freddie Farah gets on the run and just couldn't finish his solo move off. But yeah, it is definitely true, and I've certainly learned this on my own personal life as well, and I'd imagine that most people have themselves too, that the things that have hurt them the most have shaped them the most and given them more growth in character, and it leaves them in a better place moving forward. As Basile is forced off. Now, he was just holding his arm there, and now he's holding the knee. Where does it hurt, bro? Let me know where to put the magic sponge. But Basile now off, and this is not what we need, man. Liberani's already out for 3 months. I'm going to imagine that's a 2-month injury, dislocated shoulder. The injury animations are so silly, aren't they? Like, seriously, a player will go down with a broken toe and he's clutching his arm and vice versa, you know? They are something that have, oh, what a ball, what a touch, and great keeping. They are something that have not been worked on, I think, ever from EA. Like, ever since the first animations came in, they've never actually changed. And they've been ridiculous ever since they were added in because of the inconsistencies as to where a player will be actually injured, where the injuries occurred, and where they're clutching their body part when they're down on the turf in pain. And it's something that, again, it's not really a big thing. Like, no one's really going to complain too much about it. But anything that breaks away from the immersion and the realism, anything that gets you out of the game, if you will, is something at EA to me. Well, as I mentioned many times before, as much as we'd all like online career mode and some open world stuff and some in-depth changes, just fix the small stuff, get the basic stuff done first, and that in itself will make a much better game. But speaking of a much better game, well, tonight, brilliant from Roma. And like I said, I was taking this seriously tonight. Parma might be struggling, only 4 wins all season long in this area, but on the back of back-to-back games without a win, strong lineup out there, taking no chances. Might have got an injury in the process, but what we'll also be getting is progress through to the quarterfinals. Great save, that could have easily been through. Yes, 2 things I have not done enough of since joining Roma. Respect the opposition and... oh, what a rocket, Baldanzi. Eliminate your own pride. It's amazing what can happen when you're humble and fully focused on making sure you treat everyone with the utmost of respect. We did that tonight against Parma, and we've shown in the first half what that will do. And that's the thing, man. Sometimes people are better when they are more arrogant and cocky. Sometimes people play up to the villain role. That's never been Doxy boy. He's always been about humility. And I need to learn my lesson, man. Stick to what you do best. Stick to your character. Respected Parma completely, but nothing respectable out the scoreline. 3-0 up, dominating. Just like our first game today against Kasim Paza in Europe. All 3 goals coming in the first half and back on track with a big win. And proof once again that in order to be successful, I need to treat every opponent with respect, and we certainly did tonight against Parma. Big 3-0 victory into the quarterfinals. We'll see who we got, but how bad was the injury for Pasile? Yeah, it's great how you go straight into the last 16 of this competition, so you're already into a good chance of winning it just by where you start off, and no shocks there, I don't think. Well, I guess Cometh getting knocked out by Milan based on the form of both teams this season is the only shock there. But before we see the Pasile injury, we'll see who we've got in the cup, and it's going to be Lazio at home in the Derby della Capitale. Brilliant stuff there. I was kind of hoping for Lecce or Empoli Serie B sides, but that is a really tough tie with Juve taking on Napoli in a blockbuster tie there. But for the injury for Pasile, how bad was it? Again, I think it was a dislocated shoulder, to be fair, and it was indeed 2 months. So why he was clutching the leg, I've got no idea. But 2-month injury, and he and also Liberali on the treatment room, missing big games. Jared, that's a big blow there. We got covered, don't get me wrong. We can put Eduardo Bove in, and I'll swap he and Doors roles around. But it's true, like our depth isn't the best here with Roma. And so with the money we've got in the transfer budget right now, and January right around the corner on the back of our final game today against Lecce, yeah, I'm definitely thinking we might make a big signing in January. It wasn't a plan. I wanted this money to carry over to the new season for a monster budget for our second year in Rome, but we may have to decide to bring someone in based on our lack of depth and 2 big injuries. Yeah, following game, we'll end on this. It is indeed Lecce away from home, back to matters in the Serie A, and hopefully going to get back to winning ways as well on the back of a really disappointing slip-up to an out-of-form AC Milan. So we are still in the top 4, don't get me wrong, but right now, Como are running away with it. 14 wins in 16 games, only 9 goals conceded. They're looking like Leon out there with that kind of defence. And right now, 12 behind them. Any chance of getting in the title race needs a consistent run of wins, something we struggled with this year in Rome. Let's get back on track to win with though Lecce, our final game. Forza Roma. It's amazing how things have changed since our time with Leon, hasn't it? Didn't see that graphic ever at the Groupama Stadium. Top scoring team in the Serie A, and of course with Leon we just couldn't score. You know, it was constant 1-0 after 1-0 after 1-0. And in a season which has been totally stop-start and inconsistent so far with Roma, it's good. You know, it's really good. Again, we wanted to change from our time in France, and this could not be more different to our tenure with Leon. We're scoring goals for fun, but we can't defend. As Alfonsi almost got another one, and it's cleared away as it remains at 0-0. Everything has totally changed, and it's what we were looking for in this save, freshening it up completely. And now you just can't predict what this Roma team is going to do. Game in, game out. As Togba's shot deflects straight to the keeper. Great to get the 2 injuries though as well. You know, we mentioned before that at the start of the save, no injuries were occurring at all, and now since I think not the most recent patch, but the one before that, now we are seeing it as far where he dinks it for Alfonsi. Can he win that? No. And we needed it. We needed the injuries for the realism, but also for the challenge as well. And with this lack of depth in this Roma team, we have numbers, but not much quality. This is going to make things a lot trickier for us. And again, especially in terms of the decision. What do we do heading into January? Make the signings or leave things as they are? Top per oh, what a flick, Fabre. Alphonse, can you finish? Weak and right foot, yes you can, but what a flick from Frederick Fabre. When he is on it, he is literally unstoppable. 10 in 17. It is the opening goal from Roma, but it's all about the assist. What a little flick that was. 7 to go before the break. Still we find ourselves leading, but allowing Lecce back in here with Adamola. Look, man, dispossessed by Leone. And as Eduardo takes it over to Freddy. Given space, that's never a good sign. And that's just too easy. First goal was a brilliant flick. That's just too easy. Defense opens up. You can't allow someone to run through like that one-on-one. I'm always going to find it with a playmaker like Fabre. I'm always going to finish it with a scorer like Cometh. 8th in 17. Roma continuing to show they are the top scorers in Italy, and no one can match their firepower this season, especially when you've got the creative Frederick Fabre in behind. 2-0 up, and I don't want to jinx it, but we should be back to winning ways in this area here. To Bove and Fabre, who is on for a hat-trick of assists right now. I'd love to get him a goal as well. Oh, as he hits the crossbar, and Alphonse on the rebound denied. Kept in play by Tokpa, worked back into the middle, headed away, and Lecce should scramble it clear. And because of how tight it is, you never know, it could well come down to the goal difference. And as Tokpa now gets an injury, and Fabre belts it in to finally get the third in another game where he's round the show. Another injury, this time for Tokpa. He's getting back to his feet, but I think for sure now my mind is made up. When January comes around, we are going to have to make a new signing for the depth, because Liberali is down for a couple of months. We've also got Pasini down for a couple of months, and that to me looks like Tokpa down for a couple of months as well. Thank God the January window opens directly after this, because we need a new signing. And that'll do it for today's episode of Careerman as well, guys. So big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll return in the next one with more big games in the Serie A, including the league leaders Como, who's going to close the gap at the top of the table. We should have a Coppa Italia quarter-final against City rivals Lazio, and with the January window opening, 70 million in the budget, I definitely think at least one new signing will need to be made. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.